welcome to the deep dive. Whether you are prepping for a weekend watch party or, trying to salvage what is left of your bracket, we are thrilled you're here with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Today's deep dive is brought to you by sportsbrackets.net. And, well, our mission today is pretty simple. We want to give you the ultimate definitive preview before the 2026 Men's Final Four tips off at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis.
Right. And to do that, we've pulled together a genuinely fascinating stack of source material.
Oh, yeah, it is extensive.
It really is. On one side, we are looking at incredibly detailed AI probability models, like 10,000 game simulations and betting odds straight from the data scientists over at sportsbrackets.net.
Which is just a staggering amount of data to process.
Right. But then on the other side, we are weaving in the human element, the boots on the ground stuff. We've got expert predictions, player scouting, and tournament reflections from the veteran analysts at Sports Illustrated, ESPN, and USA Today.
Which brings us to where we stand right now.
Yeah.
And what a tournament it has been to get to this point.
Oh, completely chaotic.
Yeah, we are coming off one of the most unpredictable, chaotic Elite Eight rounds in the history of the sport. A round that was, punctuated by a miraculous season-saving 0.4-second buzzer beater just to set this final field.
Just unbelievable television.
Truly. And now that the dust is finally settled, we are left looking at a bracket featuring two absolute undeniable heavyweights, a resurgent underdog, and a defending champion Slayer. Okay, let's unpack this, because Saturday's games in Indy are shaping up to be legendary.
They really are. And we should probably set the stage with the matchup everyone is talking about.
Yeah, let's start right there with the first national semifinal. We have the no 1 seed Arizona Wildcats colliding with the no 1 seed Michigan Wolverines.
And the narrative surrounding this game is just intense. I mean, if you read the sports pages right now, a lot of analysts are essentially treating this like it is the real national championship game.
Are just being played 2 days early.
Exactly. The folks at sportsbrackets.net are literally branding it their heavyweight title fight.
I always get a little skeptical when people try to crown a champion before Monday night, but looking at these two rosters, the sheer gravity of this game is undeniable.
It's massive.
So you have the sportsbrackets.net AI running over 10,000 alternate realities of this specific matchup.
Yeah.
What does a supercomputer do when two unstoppable forces hit each other?
It basically throws its hands up and calls it a coin flip.
Wait, really? A literal coin flip?
Pretty much, yeah. The AI win probability leans just a microscopic hair toward Arizona. It has them at 51.8% to Michigan's 48.2%.
Wow.
Yeah, with a projected final score of 77-75, the machine is basically trying to reconcile two completely different absolute extremes in how basketball is played.
Well, walk me through those extremes.
Yep.
Because from where I'm sitting,
Huh.
Michigan is coming into Indianapolis looking terrifying.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, they didn't just beat Tennessee in the Elite Eight. They dismantled them by 33 points.
Yeah.
So how does a computer model look at a team coming off a 33-point blowout in a regional final and say, yeah, they're probably going to lose by 2?
Right, it seems counterintuitive. But it comes down to how the algorithm weights defensive efficiency versus pure momentum.
Okay, that makes sense.
Michigan's offense is a runaway freight train right now, but the AI favors Arizona because of their suffocating, holistic balance. Arizona currently ranks in the top 5 nationally in both offensive and defensive efficiency.
Both. That's rare this late in the season.
Super rare. But the specific metric the machine zeroed in on is their perimeter defense. Arizona ranks in the 99th percentile for contested shots.
Let's translate that into what we actually see on the television screen, though. Being in the 99th percentile for contested shots doesn't just mean they, put a hand in your face, right?
No, it means they take away the oxygen on the court. It means their guards are fighting over screens instantaneously, their rotations are flawless,
Right.
and they close out on shooters so fast that the opposing team's shot clock basically feels like it's 5 seconds shorter. The machine calculates that Michigan simply won't get the clean looks they got against Tennessee.
I do want to push back on that unstoppable offense versus immovable defense narrative, though.
Oh, how so?
Well, because when you look at the physical human being stepping onto that court, it feels less like a math equation and more like a chess match, but like a chess match where the pieces just keep physically growing as the game goes on.
Yeah, the sheer size on the floor is going to be staggering. You really have to look at the interior battle here.
Right, down in the paint.
Exactly. Arizona has a rim protector named Motiejusz Krivas. And Kevin Sweeney over at Sports Illustrated went as far as explicitly calling Krivas Arizona's single most important player in this tournament.
That's high praise.
It is. He is going to be down in the paint battling Michigan's massive front court, which features Ade Mara and Morris Johnson Jr.
So Krivas is basically the designated bouncer at the rim.
Essentially, yes.
If he gets into foul trouble trying to stop Mara and Johnson, Arizona's entire defensive geometry just collapses.
Which is exactly why Sweeney actually rejects the idea that this is the de facto title game. He thinks it's going to be an absolute bruising war of attrition.
Yeah, just exhausting.
But crucially, he still picks Arizona to survive it. And his reasoning isn't actually about the big men at all.
Really? Then what is it?
It's about trust at the guard position. Sweeney points to Arizona's point guard, Jaden Bradley. He argues that when the game grinds to a halt in the final 3 minutes, he trusts Bradley almost absolutely with the ball in his hands to make the right decision.
Which speaks volumes, because surviving that grinder carries an unbelievable reward.
Oh, it changes the entire mathematical landscape of the tournament.
How much of a swing are we talking about?
Well, the AI projects that whoever limps away with the victory in this heavyweight bout will carry a massive 64% win probability into Monday night's national championship game.
Wow. Over 60%?
Yeah. The data basically suggests that if you survive Saturday, the hardest part is over.
But if that first game is a clash of absolute titans, the second national semifinal operates on a completely different frequency.
Oh, totally different vibe.
If the first game is about dominance, the second game is about grip, timing, and just defying the odds. We have the number 3 seed Illinois Fighting Illini stepping up against the number 2 seed UConn Huskies.
Right.
Now, I am looking at the AI datasheet here, and I am genuinely lost.
Let me guess the probabilities.
Yeah. Illinois has the better foundational metrics in several categories, but the machine has suddenly flipped its expected statistical narrative. It favors the lower-seeded UConn team. It gives the Huskies a 53.4% win probability. Did the model glitch? Like, why is it suddenly backing the Huskies?
The model didn't glitch at all. It found a human anomaly that broke its usual parameters. And his name is Braylon Mullins.
Ah, the buzzer beater kid.
The very same. The AI flagged Mullins' clutch shooting percentage, meaning his performance in high-leverage, late-game, do-or-die situations, as the highest in the entire tournament field.
That is incredible.
This is the kid who just hit that miraculous 0.4-second buzzer beater to stun the number 1 overall seed, Duke. The machine learning model looked at his data set and basically concluded, when the season is on the line, this variable does not miss.
It is deeply ironic that a supercomputer had to adjust its algorithm to account for a 19-year-old just having ice in his veins.
It really is.
But the human experts, the guys who've been watching tape all year, they aren't buying the machine's logic here, are they?
Not at all. If you look at the human scouting from Sports Illustrated, both Pat Ford and Brian Fisher are picking Illinois to take down UConn.
And what's their reasoning?
Well, Ford bases his prediction on this brilliant piece of hidden math. He points out that Illinois leads the entire nation in the lowest opponent free throw rate.
Oh, wow. Let's pause and unpack that, because for anyone listening who isn't a basketball coach, that might sound like a boring, obscure stat.
It sounds super dry, yeah.
But lowest opponent free throw rate is an unbelievable weapon. It's like having a turnstile on defense that looks completely open but locks at the very last second. You guard the paint, but you don't foul.
Exactly. It dictates the entire flow of the game. It means the opposing team doesn't get to stop the clock. They don't get free points while the defense rests.
Right.
Meanwhile, UConn ranks 307th in that exact same category. So Ford is arguing that Illinois is going to have a massive mathematical edge at the foul line simply by not sending UConn there.
And Brian Fisher backs up that Illinois pick by looking at the physical geometry of the court. He notes that Illinois has incredible front court depth and length.
Yeah, their wingspan is ridiculous.
He believes that specific length is going to act as a net to neutralize UConn's primary physical presence, Terrace Reed Jr., down low.
See, this specific matchup highlights the glaring difference between how a computer simulates a game and how a human visualizes it. Well, the AI sees Braylon Mullins hitting clutch shots in a vacuum, right? But the human scouts see a grinding, foul-heavy game where Illinois' incredible length dictates the pace before Mullins ever gets the ball.
Yeah, that kind of defensive grit and grinding identity breeds a very specific type of fan loyalty, which makes the human element in the stands for this game so fascinating.
Oh, the crowd is going to be wild.
Right, and Pat Ford shared a detail that I absolutely love. Actor Bill Murray is going to be at this Final Four.
That's amazing.
Back in 2005, Murray was the ultimate Illinois fan. He was in the crowd, visibly devastated during their infamous Elite Eight collapse against Arizona. But for this game, He will be in Indianapolis actively cheering against Illinois. He is rooting for UConn.
I mean, to completely abandon your team at the Final Four, there has to be a very compelling reason.
Blood is thicker than defensive metrics. His son, Luke Murray, is Dan Hurley's assistant coach at UConn.
Oh, that makes total sense then.
It's one of those intersecting storylines that only happens in March. And here's where it gets really interesting. You have this Illinois team fueled by the unexpected rise of breakout players like Keaton Wagler.
Yeah.
Can that underdog energy overcome the sheer force of UConn's momentum?
Especially when you consider that Braylon Mullins is an Indiana kid. Playing this game in Indy makes it essentially a homecoming game for UConn's biggest star.
That's a huge factor.
It is. Homecoming energy is a tangible psychological force that models struggle to calculate. But, the fact that we are even talking about an Illinois versus UConn semifinal forces us to look at the broader picture of this tournament.
Right.
We have Arizona, Michigan, Illinois, and UConn surviving. What do you notice about the teams that are missing from that list?
Oh, it is a ghost town of the traditional basketball aristocracy. When you look at the landscape of this Final Four, you are staring at the graveyard of the Blue Bloods.
Completely.
Where is Duke? Where is North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Indiana?
The carnage among the historic powerhouses this year was just unprecedented. Let's run through the timeline from our sources.
Yeah, lay it out.
Okay, Duke. They were the #1 overall seed in the entire tournament. They made it the furthest, reaching the Elite Eight. But they suffered a truly heartbreaking 19-point collapse, ultimately slain by that Braylon Mullins buzzer beater we talked about.
A 19-point blown lead in the regional final is a systemic failure. But the crazy part is, they weren't even the only blue blood to blow a 19-point lead.
No, they weren't. North Carolina endured their own epic 19-point collapse at the hands of VCU.
Just brutal.
And that loss wasn't just a bad night. The sources note it was so devastating it directly led to a coaching change at UNC.
Wow.
Then you have Kansas, who didn't even make it to the second weekend. They were knocked out in the second round by St. John's on a driving layup by a player named Dylan Bells-Darling.
And then you have Kentucky and Indiana, who are entirely absent as teams. They are relegated to the sidelines.
Yeah, just watch it.
You have experts like SportsBrackets.net author Will Levis, who's a lifelong Kentucky fan forced to write about the tournament purely as a spectator. Or you have Indiana fans packing the arena just to watch their hometown talent like Braylon Mullins carry an East Coast program to the promised land.
It's a weird dynamic for those fan bases.
It really is. We have the recap of what happened to them, but we need to ask why they vanished so quickly.
I think it reveals a massive shift in how the college game is constructed right now. Heavyweights like Duke and Kansas have traditionally relied on recruiting high-ceiling, 18-year-old freshman phenoms.
Right. The one-and-done guys.
Exactly. But what happens when those 18-year-olds run into a team like VCU or St. John's, who might not have NBA lottery picks, but have older, leaner players who have been executing the same system together for 3 years?
The experience gap.
Yeah, the margin for error is gone. A 19-point lead used to be safe. Today, an older team gets hot from the three-point line, the freshmen panic, and the lead evaporates in 4 minutes.
It reminds me of a corporate restructuring. You have these massive, bloated, old guard executives getting pushed completely out of the boardroom by these leaner, hungrier upstart companies who refuse to play by the historical rules.
That is a perfect way to put it.
It forces you to ponder if the era of the untouchable blue blood program is officially over. When heavyweights like UNC and Kansas are dismantled that efficiently, the aura of invincibility is just gone.
The aura is gone, and the predictability is gone with it, which creates an incredibly difficult environment for analysis.
And that tension between chaos and predictability brings us to the core debate of this entire deep dive. We have SportsBrackets.net running 10,000 pristine mathematical simulations of this Final Four on a server.
Yep.
But given everything we just discussed, the blown 19-point leads, the buzzer beaters, the homecoming energy, should we just blindly trust an AI model to tell us who is going to win? Or is it just a tool?
Well, if we look at the AI's ultimate verdict, it actually provides a very nuanced answer. After running the scenarios, the machine declares Arizona the overall favorite to win the championship, giving them a 29.4% win probability.
Okay.
But it doesn't just predict a winner, it looks for inefficiencies in the market. The AI flags UConn as the value king.
Okay, if I'm a listener looking at the tournament odds right now, value king sounds like financial jargon.
It kind of is.
Translate what that means for someone filling out a betting slip. What makes them the value play?
It comes down to implied probability. UConn is currently sitting at plus 380 odds to win the championship. But the AI model calculates everything they've done surviving the grueling East region, the physical matchups, the location of the games, and determines their true odds should actually be closer to plus 300.
So the sportsbooks are essentially offering UConn at a massive discount compared to their actual statistical likelihood of winning. That discrepancy is what the analysts call alpha.
Precisely. The machine is telling you that betting on UConn is the smartest mathematical investment. But, and this is the most crucial part of the sportsbrackets.net data, the AI actually includes a disclaimer.
A disclaimer.
Yeah.
On its own math.
Yeah. The model openly concedes that machine learning cannot account for heart. It cannot quantify locker room chemistry. It has no formula for the psychological adrenaline boost of a homecoming crowd.
And that blind spot in the machine is exactly where the human experts make their living. The writers at Sports Illustrated aren't just staring at efficiency metrics. They're staring at the human beings. They focus heavily on the freshman wildcards.
Because freshmen are the ultimate variable. You can have a teenager who completely transcends the moment and overperforms on the biggest stage of their life, or you can have one who gets absolute stage fright under the stadium lights.
Look at Michigan's Trey McKinney or Arizona's Ivan Karchenkov. Karchenkov is a 6'7", 230-pound freshman who's quietly scored 56 points over the first 4 games of this tournament.
He's been incredible.
But you cannot program a simulation to predict how a 230-pound 18-year-old is going to metabolize the adrenaline of 70,000 screaming fans in Lucas Oil Stadium. His confidence could balloon or it could fracture in real time.
Exactly. A computer model sees a stat line and a historical trend. A human scout sees a player hesitating on a closeout or looking over to his coach after a missed shot.
So what does this all mean? If you are tracking these games this weekend, how do you balance the math with the madness?
It's the million-dollar question.
I think it boils down to this. The AI is brilliant at mapping the terrain. It will tell you the elevation, where the defensive traps are, and the exact rebounding margins. But you still need a human being to predict the weather, emotion, pressure, the weight of the moment that is the lightning storm that the machine is blind to.
Well said. We've really covered the entire map today. We dug into the heavyweight title fight between Arizona and Michigan, exploring how elite, suffocating perimeter defense tries to halt explosive momentum.
Yeah, that's going to be a clash.
And we broke down the scrappy mathematical resilience of Illinois as they use their incredible length to try and derail UConn's homecoming narrative.
We also took a hard look at the ghost town of the Blue Bloods, unpacking why the old guard like Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas couldn't survive the relentless pace of the modern tournament.
And we weighed that fascinating tension between 10,000 cold, hard AI simulations and the raw, unquantifiable instinct of the human scouts. And, it is worth noting that despite the AI identifying UConn as the value play, all 3 of the Sports Illustrated writers we sourced, Ford, Fisher, and Sweeney, unanimously predict that Arizona's balance will ultimately lead them to cut down the nets on Monday night.
If you are meticulously tracking the final points of your bracket pool, or you're just tuning in to witness the pure spectacle of the sport, Saturday's matchups in Indianapolis promise to deliver history.
No doubt about it.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over before tip-off. We spent weeks trying to predict this tournament. We build elaborate models because we want the comfort of knowing exactly where the coin is going to land.
Human nature, right.
But if an advanced AI model can run 10,000 pristine mathematical simulations and still has to put a disclaimer on its own data, conceding that it cannot quantify heart, does the true beauty of March Madness lie in the fact that it is mathematically designed to be unpredictable?
The variables are simply too human to ever be perfectly solved.
Exactly. When you watch the games this weekend, don't just watch the scoreboard. Watch for the moments the machine couldn't see coming. A massive thank you to sportsbrackets.net for bringing us today's deep dive, and thank you to everyone for listening. Enjoy the Final Four.